prepper here to bring you an overview of my tincture stash, what's currently in my apothecary, which I am doing to show you just sort of like what I've got, but also to do as an inventory for myself. So I know where I stand and where I'm going to be going for my lunar herbal preparations this year. So today is the day before the February full moon. Tomorrow is February 27th, 2021. And it's going to also be my first ever live lunar prep video. So I invite you all to come back tomorrow at 6 o'clock Arizona time and hang out with me. Potentially you'll be able to ask questions of what we're doing tomorrow live. So far I've got a couple of ferments planned, some herbal capsule making, probably some tincture making once I figure out what I need to make now. And then also I'm probably going to be making up a couple of tea blends. So if any of that sounds appealing to you at all, come tomorrow and join us, and we would love to have you there. But just as a note, of course, if you yourself or anybody in your family struggles with alcoholism, making alcohol tinctures might not be the best thing for you. You just don't want to set yourself or anybody you love up to fail if they are fighting that addiction. And so I have heard some unfortunate stories about herbalists who have had, an alcoholic, relative or ex-husband or whatever come through and drink through the tincture stash, which is devastating to the herbalist because of how much time it takes, of course, to make it, but also dangerous potentially to the person who would do that, because while these medicines are safe in their intended doses, anything in excess can be a poison. So it is something to keep in mind, unfortunately. But there are some other options, such as apple cider vinegar, glycerin. They just don't have the same kind of shelf life as the tinctures. But if you're interested in more plant making information, this is my go-to book for how to make plant medicines. It's Making Plant Medicine by Richo Chek. Fancy that. So it's a really incredible book. Great, great, great information. This is the one to get for learning how to make plant medicine. And then also from a prepping standpoint, alcohol tinctures are great because they last virtually indefinitely. They are a great way to preserve fresh plant matter, but also any dry plant matter you have when it's nearing that year to year and a half mark and it's kind of maybe about to be kind of old and start losing its efficacy. You can go ahead and take that and tincture it and then preserve the efficacy of those herbs in another form that will be virtually indefinite. So that's a great way to tincture, is also like looking through your herbal stash and seeing, what do I have that's been around for like a year or more? So, and then you can go ahead and tincture those and save it and not have to like get rid of it, like, because it'll be still good. And I have 22 distinct tinctures here. And so I'm not going to be talking to you about exactly what they all do or why I have every single one of them, or else we will be here all night long. Because seriously, I will talk all night long. As long as there's breath in this body, I will be talking. Okay. So I have to try to control it and just sort of show you what it is. And then maybe like a 2 or 3 word thing on each one. If you want more information on what all of these things potentially can do, there's many great book resources. If you've never started, my go-to book for just starting herbal medicine, herbal anything, is this one. It's Rosemary Gladstar's Medicinal Herbs, a beginner's guide. And don't be fooled by that beginner thing, especially even if you're kind of advanced and you already have a lot of your knowledge in place. This book is still actually these two, I feel like the other one I have here, which is a mystery still, these two are my most reached for resources. I go to this book probably more than almost any other book in my library, and I have got some quote unquote advanced herbal books in my library, and still this is the one that I pick up. It is just so well put together and so concise. There's such pretty pictures, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just great. There's still so much information here. Also, the power of herbal medicine, I think, is in how simple and accessible it is. So this is the one. It is the medicine of the people, it just is. And then this is the second book that I love. So these two together, I think this one is more of a tome. Okay, this is like just incredible just so rich with information. You have to take some time reading through this. This is not going to be one of those like one and done, look up what does this herb do for this. Actually, herbs are not really supposed to work that way in general. So, but this is The Gift of Healing Herbs by Robin Rose Bennett. It is just truly, and just, this is a gift. This book is a gift. I love this book. I read it so much. So much of what I do for our family is based off of the information that I have found in just these 2 books. These are an excellent start to your herbal library. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get into the actual tinctures. I keep trying to make this intro shorter. It just keeps not being any shorter. So we're just gonna go ahead and get to it. So I have, first of all, and it's all alphabetized, Burdock Root. So Burdock Root is a great, you know, cleansing, beautiful herb. I have quite a bit of that. Some of these too, I'm looking and they need to be in smaller jars. Also, I'm going to rescue all my canning jars because canning jars are too precious. I have a lot of canning to do and I'm out of jars. So they need to go into different jars, but that is one that we do keep out. So it's great for cleansing and kind of general digestive issues, usually in concert with dandelion. It's like burdock and dandelion root are like best friends, and you almost always take them together. Catnip tincture, which is also just kind of very calming and wonderful to have, especially, it's very safe, especially for children. Yes, I give even children tincture because by the time, you know, you do only a small amount, like, you know, so many drops, you can look up dosages, and actually each one of these books has great information on dosages based on age. Actually, it's usually based on weight. So I tend to get a double dose of everything because I am heavy set. So currently still, not for long, but you know, we're working on it. But just in general, so you can see like the dosage kind of depends on weight. And so you have to kind of do the math on that, but that information is in the book. So with children, it'll be like just a few drops. And seriously, there is so little alcohol by the time they get it. Like, there's no real risk, I don't believe, personally. Some people, just to play it safe, do use only glycerin tinctures for kids, and that's fine. It's up to your comfort level. Whatever it is that you want to do, that's what you do. A calendula tincture. So this is actually my own calendula from my garden. And so calendula is great, healing to the digestive tract. It's very healing for wounds in general as well. But it's just a good healer, cleanser internally and externally. So that's another one that we have in a bottle ready to go. Cinnamon tincture. This one was just kind of a fun one. And it's kind of like a cinnamon extract. I could basically use this in baking now if I wanted to, but this is also great, famously good for helping with blood sugar and all that. But actually, I tend to use it just a few drops at a time. And I can't remember if this is a catalyst or not. Certain herbs are classified as catalysts, which mean that they kind of can help boost other herbs in a remedy. And I can't remember cinnamon is one of those, but it adds a really great flavor. So when I take a tincture, they're not always the best tasting. You do it in a little bit of water too, not usually straight up because it's like too strong. And I grab just like a few drops of cinnamon to whatever it is I'm taking, and it makes it taste so much better. So that's what I do. And here is the first blend I have, and I'll talk to you just a little bit about tinctures, singles versus blends. So this is a clear skin formula. This is actually Rosemary Gladstar's recipe, and I believe it is in this book that I just showed you, the medicinal herbs one. And it is burdock, dandelion, and calendula. Now, some people will tincture things kind of all together in one jar. As a rule, I do not. Now, there's like a couple blends that I've done that way, but mostly I don't. So the recipe here is 2 parts burdock root, 1 part dandelion root, 1 part calendula. So I have burdock and calendula and dandelion, and then I can just mix that tincture later rather than tincturing it all together and then it's only that one thing, if that makes sense. I can't split it after it's done. So that's kind of where I go. But here's one where I actually did tincture it all together. Cooling liver tincture is another recipe from Rosemary Gladstar. It's burdock, dandelion, and cinnamon. And so I did tincture that all together. But, you know, now I kind of regret it because of how little cinnamon tincture I have. Like, I would rather have been able to mix this for myself later. But yeah, you can do it both ways. I don't think there's really technically any wrong way. That's just kind of what to keep in mind. That tincturing things separately and then being able to mix it later gives you, I guess, more options. But some people believe that there's a special thing, like a synergy that happens when you tincture herbs and plants together in the same alcohol. And so that is also, I guess it's possible. I'm not like knocking that or anything. It's possible. And it's also kind of nice for it to be just one and done, and then you don't have to mix it because you've already got it mixed. So you sort of have to decide what works for your personality type, and I'm going to move on. So Cramp Bark tincture, this is actually all I have is in this. So this is just exactly what it sounds like, Cramp Bark. It's a great menstrual cramp remedy, and good for other things as well. Dandelion tincture, deeply nourishing, also somewhat cleansing. This is a great, dandelion is often used as a great diuretic, and what's great about it is that it is very high in potassium. So unlike a lot of diuretics that make you have to take potassium at the same time, this is like a gentle diuretic that also replenishes your potassium so that you don't have to worry about that. So it's just like as an FYI. It's a cleanser, but it's very gentle. You know, burdock is a cleanser and it's more intense. I think that that's why they go together often, because you kind of almost, you like need to soften burdock. Burdock is a bit powerful. Echinacea tincture. So Echinacea is great. A lot of people misuse Echinacea. Like, this is not meant for like colds and flus, like, which is what people think it's for. This is really great for like, and now this is where it's dangerous. Now don't be stupid, okay? If you have, I'm sorry, I shouldn't talk like that. But seriously, don't be stupid, okay? If you have something going on that's like serious and you have access to our modern Western allopathic medical care, like a septic infection in your body, go and get help, right? But this is also traditionally used for sepsis and also venomous snake bites. So if you end up with a snake bite, this is a great thing to have like in a kit, like in your bug out bag or in your backpack or whatever. Both topically and internally, you can use this for help with venomous bites and sepsis. But seriously, again, just like don't be dumb. Don't make herbalists and herbal people look dumb, okay? There's some things you just don't mess with, okay? And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean. Now I feel really guilty, like I'm not being mean, okay? But it's like, seriously, okay. Anyway, like my son has a peanut allergy. Like, can we just like, okay, I'm back. Oh my gosh, see, I'm talking. We carry an EpiPen. I'm not going to be like mixing a tincture for his peanut. Like, if he gets exposed to peanuts, he has an epinephrine shot that I have that I will give to him if we end up in some situation where he has peanuts, you know? So anyway, you just kind of got to like, they both go together. This is not like a either or. This is meant to be supportive. Hopefully you won't need allopathic medical care as much with a lot of this good supportive stuff in your life. But if you do need it, it's there for a reason, and there's many things that allopathic care is extremely good for. So anyway, moving on. Elderberry. So we have elderberry tincture, which is a great way to take elderberry if you can't stand syrup, but also this is like, you know, infinite, almost shelf life in a more shelf stable form than elderberry syrup would be. What's also great is when you make your elderberry syrup, like when I make my elderberry syrup, I like to add brandy, or now it's rum because that's what's cheaper, so that's what I buy now. Or rum to the actual syrup in like, it's like 1 ounce per half cup, something like that. I can't remember. That measurement is in The Gift of Healing Herbs by Robin Rose Bennett. But I like to add a little bit of that alcohol to the syrup to increase the shelf life, but then also to help speed the medicine's absorption by the bloodstream. So that's one of the other really great things about alcohol tinctures, if I didn't mention it in this particular take, which is the last take. It just is. That the alcohol is great. Like, one of the other great things about tincture medicine specifically is because of the alcohol content, the medicine hits your bloodstream faster, so you get a faster response in the body than you would necessarily like with a tea. So yeah, elderberry tincture is great, but then you can like double up if the brandy or the rum or the alcohol that you add is another tincture that you have in your collection. You could potentially even add elderberry tincture to your elderberry syrup and then get like a 1-2 punch of elderberry. I haven't ever done that, but it's potentially, because I feel like it's like too precious. Like I just add plain alcohol usually. I don't think I've ever added a tincture to my elderberry syrup, but if we were ever dealing with something serious, I probably would. But anyway, and an elderflower tincture, I have like bigger jars, like that's the elderberry. Look how beautiful. See the color? Like the color is so gorgeous. You can see how it takes on the plant properties. And then this is elderflower. So elderberry and elderflower are the same plant. It's just a different thing. So it's like elderberry and elderflower have kind of different actions. And I think of elderberry as more of, and that you don't like, this is not written in stone. It's just like the way that I think of it. Elderberry being more of a supportive thing that like supports your immune system, helps you keep from like getting the cold or the flu or whatever. And so it's more of a protective measure that you take beforehand, whereas elderflower, which is an extremely great fever reducer, it's diaphoretic is what that is, and then it's also anti-infectious and all of that. And so I feel like elderflower is almost more like the treatment that you take after the fact. Like if you weren't doing your elderberry and you got sick, you can do elderflower. Usually there's a famous remedy. It's a combination of elderflower, yarrow, and peppermint, I believe. I think it's called, and it's in this book too. It's the Gypsies. I'm sorry, that's just the name of it. I'm not trying to be offensive. I know some people are offended by the Gypsy term, and I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be offended, but that's just what it's called. It's the Gypsies cold tea or something like that. Like a tea. It is like a famous gypsy remedy is what they say, or Romani remedy, I guess I should say it that way. And so if you Google, but a lot of times these things, they have their old names. So if you Google like Gypsy cold care remedy or Gypsy cold and flu tea, you'll find that blend, and it's like elderflower, yarrow, and peppermint. Okay, oh my gosh. I'm not even halfway through, or maybe I'm about halfway through. Okay, German chamomile tincture. This is a great one just for relaxation and de-stressing. This is a nervine. So this is one like you're super stressed. German chamomile is a great one too for that. And so it is, that's another really, the one that just got so pretty, and you can't see the color in the photo, or in the camera, so I'm not going to show. But it's great too, because if you wanted to take chamomile tea at night, but it's also a diuretic, so you might be up like peeing all night long, so you might sleep, but you have to wake up to pee constantly. So a great way to do, like, to help foster sleep or to help you de-stress, you can use those herbs in tincture form instead. And so you take like a half teaspoon of a tincture in just a tiny bit of water and let that be, you know, what you take rather than the full cup of tea, which might make you have to go all night long. So that's a great way to do it. And also, just as a note, me and my boys, I don't know about sage yet. No, it's not sage, because I've tried so many things. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. Oh my gosh, I have to be careful how I joke with you guys. It is like instant coma. Like, so if I get chamomile in anything, I'm just like almost immediately. So for a lot of people, it's just like a very gentle nervine, and it sort of calms them down. It makes them feel good. But for like me or my sons, it's like instant knockout. And so Sage has a little tea blend that I've given her before to try to help her relax and calm down before bedtime, and doesn't work. So she is not apparently one of the ones who takes chamomile and gets knocked out. Lame. Anyway. But so we also come on, she's 3, she's in anyway. All right, I'm gonna stop. Okay, Ginkgo biloba tincture. So I have Ginkgo biloba. This is just another great one to have on hand. Increased circulation, memory, especially for the brain. Oh, Hawthorn is right there because they're next to each other in the alphabet. But also in remedy, Hawthorn and Ginkgo both are great for anybody who's like foggy headed and tired and like needs help with memory and all of that. So the two of them together, because Ginkgo helps increase circulation, and Hawthorn too kind of is great just in general for the cardiovascular system and circulation and all of that. And it's like the two of them together just seem to work so well for anybody who's like dealing with like that kind of memory issue and fatigue. But this is just such a great, hawthorn is incredibly great for your heart. It helps grief. It helps blood pressure, regulate blood pressure, whether it is too high or too low. Just as a general wonderful heart strengthening cardiovascular tonic, Hawthorn Berry is amazing. It's actually, man, hawthorn is special, and it is. It's like so soothing and so just, I don't know, it has a very special effect on the body. And so you do some research on hawthorn, especially if you're dealing with grief too and emotional trauma. Hawthorn Berry is a beautiful one to have. Jamaican Dogwood bark is apparently great for pain. I don't know for sure. Like I kind of heard that from an herbalist at some point, but I haven't found it in books. When I have tried to look it up again, it was an herbalist who said that her preference is Jamaican Dogwood over white willow bark for pain. So I do have Jamaican Dogwood tincture. This one's actually pretty old. Oh no, it's just January, but it was from kind of older herbs. So I haven't used this one a lot, but I have it on hand, and I need to find more information on that. Here's Jamaican Sorrel. It's gorgeous red tincture. Oh, so good. This is made fresh from Jamaican Sorrel out of my yard. And then this is also cardiovascular, blood pressure, cholesterol, hawthorn too, cholesterol. Great cardiovascular thing. And just as an FYI, like as an aside, isn't it interesting? Hawthorn Berry is so very red. Jamaican Sorrel is so very red, and they're both so good for your heart and for blood. It's like kind of that doctrine of signatures, which I'm not 100% sold on it, but as a kind of mnemonic device to kind of remember things, it's kind of, but it is also very interesting how often it seems to line up. So anyway, lavender tincture, another great, powerful medicine. Like like these flower medicines, some of them like elderflower and chamomile, and even hawthorn flower, which I don't have, I just have the berry. These flower medicines, like calendula, man, they are so powerful. Lavender is an amazing relaxant. Great, again, yeah, for stress and just sort of calming you down if you're having a hard time. It can help some people with sleep, and sometimes even just the smell of it can make you feel good. Although, I don't know, does this smell like lavender or does it smell like liquor? Ooh, it smells like lavender. Oh, that smells so good. It's like, it smells, but it's like bright somehow, probably from the liquor. It's amazing. So this is another great one. This also potentially can be used as a flavoring in baking, you know, if you're into lavender flavored things. But yeah, that's just another great one to have on hand. Lemon balm, another nervine, just so great for stress and just like making you feel so good. This one is a kind of a #1 for anxiety and sleep problems, especially sleep problems that are caused by anxiety. And so lemon balm is just another great, very gentle medicine to have on hand. Another one where it's like if you drink a whole cup of tea before bed, you might be up all night going to the bathroom. So this is another one that could be great for taking before bed as a tincture. You could probably blend them together. Like now I'm thinking, oh, I need to make my own blend. I'll do like lavender, lemon balm, and chamomile together in like a little tincture or something. So anyway, that's a great one. Meow Meow Sleepy Time Tincture. This is my remedy, but it is the classic remedy, the one that I was talking about before. Catnip, chamomile, and lemon balm together are just deeply relaxing. Definitely supposed to help with sleep. This is also a remedy that's used as a tea for like hyperactive children a lot of times, again, just because all three of those are so gentle and safe for children. So this is also great as a tincture. But my son, one of my older sons, actually, he takes this at night. Sometimes when he has trouble sleeping, he'll take it and it helps him sleep. So, you know, you just never know sometimes. And so like a lot of times, like if he's out or like if he's, spending the night at my grandma's house or something, and he has a hard time sleeping there sometimes because it's not his familiar bed, he'll take this with him so that he can fall asleep better. And so it's just really helpful and gentle, and it's not like drugs, right? Like the side effects. This is just like gentle plant medicine. It just supports your body in what you need. Nettles. Oh, we could talk for years just about nettles, right? And right, Kathy, I see you already in the comments, right, writing about nettles. like Kathy is one of the people on the channel. Hi, Kathy. She's probably one of the only ones who's actually watching this video still. But Nettles has been very helpful to her in her life, and it's also been helpful to us in our life. Nettles is just so great, like deeply nourishing. This is also a very classic remedy for allergies, for also circulation issues. So like nettles and hawthorn together are one of my favorite things to take, just as a nourishing cardiovascular beautiful thing. This helps specifically with capillaries and veins in your body, helps them to be more supple, and it's just like an overall nourishing thing. So chock full of iron and so many minerals, it's just crazy. And it's said to be relieving of stress and like so many things. It is almost like turmeric, like with the things that herbalists say that this will do. And actually, honestly, I don't know if it's the nettles like actually doing this to your body, or if it's because of how nourishing it is and how many minerals and vitamins it has. If it's just like having nettles constantly seems to heal so many things, because our bodies, if they're properly nourished, a lot of times will just do what they're supposed to do, which is be healthy. Now, I know that there are definitely certain instances, certain autoimmune disorders and all that. I'm not trying to say like as a blanket, oh, if you just nourish yourself, you'll be perfectly healthy. I'm not trying to say that, but probably for the vast majority of people, if they would just be more nourished, a lot of the issues that they deal with would disappear. So anti-anxiety, like nettles is said to do all kinds of things. My opinion, and Kathy does not share this opinion, the Kathy in the comments does not share this opinion, but this Kathy thinks that nettle tea tastes basically like canned spinach juice. I do not like it. So one of my favorite ways to drink nettle tea is to mix it either half and half with hawthorn berries or half and half with red raspberry leaf, which is another great thing. I don't have any of that here. I should make a red raspberry leaf tincture. I'm like, oh, I'll put that on the list. Okay, but that's one of my favorite ways to do it. Actually, nettles with red raspberry leaf together, I feel like that tastes almost exactly like a really beautifully smooth black tea. Like if you brew black tea perfectly with no bitterness, that's what nettles and red raspberry leaf together taste like. Okay, moving on. Shepherd's purse, y'all. Just there's no hope for me. Okay, shepherd's purse tincture. This is supposed to have a really short shelf life, but for all intents and purposes, it seems fine. There's nothing off about it. It's not cloudy. It's beautifully clear. This was actually made with shepherd's purse that I just gathered in my backyard. So I made this in 2017. So this is kind of an older tincture. This is primarily for stopping bleeding in like an extreme first aid situation. So this is actually a tincture that is on hand, and it has been documented. Again, if you have access, get access to care. But it is still good to know these things, for especially like some sort of SHTF situation. If you're stuck, to have on hand, you know, somebody you love is giving birth. This is a great one to have made on hand, because this can stop hemorrhaging. This has been shown at times to stop hemorrhaging, bleeding, especially after childbirth. So taking shepherd's purse quickly has saved many a woman's life when it was on hand. Again, obviously, if you have access to care, please get care. Again, this is just like to know, to have on hand. So I have this on hand, like as an in case, what if, I don't know, there's no access to healthcare or help isn't coming. You can dial 911 and they can't come because something has happened, you know, so I have this on hand in, you know, some sort of crazy event. So anyway, just please be smart. Please be smart. Don't, like, people, like, they think that herbalists are crazy, and I'm just like, please just be smart. Okay. Anyway, St. John's wort. And it's funny because I thought I had a lot more of this. So I'm going to have to this is going to be one that I'm going to have to make more of. So St. John's wort is very famous for helping with mild depression and mood. And boy, let me tell you, when I am taking this, I feel amazing. So it's like, it really does lift you up. Even if you're not depressed, you get like a perk in your mood. The main reason that I have this on hand though, is because it is incredible for nerve pain, any kind of nerve damage. So if you've got like sciatica but especially any kind of pain in your neck and in your shoulders. And I was like, are you kidding? So this is from Robin Rose Bennett. That's what I found this out in this book. I found out about this in that book. And so that is why I have it on hand to take whenever I get this acting up right here or over here. And it is just kind of a constant. It's like a occupational hazard, I guess, with all of the work I do and in my jewelry business and constant hammering. And so it puts some strain. So being able to take this for relief is fantastic. Hi. Okay, just a second. It has officially been too long. Okay, her show is like, are you still watching? Thanks, Amazon. Anyway, okay. So yeah, St. John's wort is great for neck and shoulder pain. And so Stevia Leaf. So this was basically an extract that I made. Now it has been said to help with blood sugar, and it is said to be tonic to the pancreas. I don't know how much experience we have yet with this plant. I think it's still relatively new. Up north here. I think it comes from South America, doesn't it? Anyway, sorry, I'm not 100% clear. But this is Stevia Leaf extract. So I made this tincture just like I made all of these with the actual plant, and it has a very sweet taste, but I made this mainly for sweetening things. I don't know how to use it medicinally, but I have it in this collection because apparently it is. So it's just a great way to make your remedies taste better, but also to sweeten little, I don't know, like your chai or whatever if you're trying to get away from sugar. And it's just 100% natural, just the alcohol and the leaf, no other process involved. So that's why I made that. And I have, sorry, I'm going to reach pretty far for these, white willow bark, and I have another entire full jar behind here. So this is white willow bark tincture. This is kind of famous. If you ever watched Dr. Quinn, white willow bark came up quite a lot. This is the origination basically of our modern aspirin. It's the salicylic acid that is inside of this plant was extracted and put together into aspirin. So white willow bark is still an amazing anti-inflammatory pain reliever. It's especially good apparently for arthritis and arthritic pain. It's just fantastic. A lot of these plants seem to have a certain action on a certain part of the body. They seem to just be especially tonic to a certain part of the body. And white willow bark is apparently just really great for joints. And so that's just sort of what they say, what everyone says. So I just repeat it. And then also it's like a standard pain reliever. It does take about 45 minutes to be effective, but because of the fact that it still has all of the natural tannins from the plant in it, it ends up not really upsetting your stomach. Whereas some people take aspirin and it upsets their stomach. This is not really going to do that because the tannins slow the absorption of the actual medicinal part of the plant into your body, which make it take longer to take effect, but also make it stay effective for a good long time. And it's just a really great thing to have on hand. It's also a great fever reducer. And yeah, white willow bark, it's a great thing. It's like Dr. Quinn. And the final thing is Yarrow tincture. So I have another full bottle of this behind these, thank goodness. So Yarrow is a great thing to have on hand. Again, this is another great, oh gosh, I think it's a fever reducer, anti-infectious thing. This is one that you could use directly on a wound. Not that it's going to feel very good because it is alcohol, but you could soak a cloth and put it on top of something for healing. I have heard some kind of crazy stories, which I don't necessarily want to relate here. Because yeah, I just want people to be smart, but there's some kind of insanely incredible stories about Yarrow, especially with spider bites and all kinds of stuff. Like, it's just kind of crazy. So probably if you look stuff up, you can find it. But this is a great one to have on hand, also specifically for stopping bleeding. Yarrow is kind of incredible. So it's a styptic, right? Styptic. I'm pretty sure it's styptic, and it means it stops bleeding. And it is powerful for something like that. So you have a wound that just will not stop bleeding, put some yarrow in it. Either pack powdered yarrow or use the tincture again. It's not going to feel good, but there it is. So and among many other things, like all of these plants have many uses besides what I just said here, like as a super fast, like number one, like highlight overview. But all of these are incredibly useful to have on hand. So I don't know if any of that stood out. You can kind of know where you want to start from there. But I should have done this earlier when I was talking about the alcohol issues. For instance, I have Calendula here in Witch Hazel, and also this one, which is Rose Petals in Witch Hazel. And then this is Rose Water that I made with Witch Hazel and water. These are actually all roses from my garden that I used. And yeah, they're like still beautiful. Like they're supposed to have a shelf life, but they're still like perfectly fine. So there's no cloudiness, there's no mold, there's no nothing. It still smells exactly the same as it did when I first made it. So these are great for skin specifically. So a lot of these I made to keep on hand just for myself as a nice gentle tonic. But then also, you know, like I've got teenage sons. Actually, gosh, my oldest is not a teenager anymore. He's 20 now. Oh my goodness. But anyway, I still have an almost 15-year-old. And so, you know, potentially for acne issues, Calendula and Witch Hazel is a great topical, and all of that. So you can definitely make some other things, not only using alcohol. And yeah, I think that is where I'm going to cut off because this has gotten really long, but hopefully that was still some really good content. And so I don't know exactly. I'm pretty sure now I'm going to make some St. John's wort tincture tomorrow. I'm going to make more of that. And yeah, I'm going to kind of look around and see if there's anything else that I feel like I should be making, but I think this is pretty covered. Oh yeah, red raspberry leaf, right? I didn't make anything yet with that. Although that one's not typically taken as a tincture, which might be why I haven't made it that way. But anyway, so I hope to talk a lot more about herbal medicine making and have kind of a whole series on that on the channel. So if you like this content, please like it. Please subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments down below if there was anything here that, you know, was kind of eye-opening and like you think, oh yeah, I want to make some of that for myself. Definitely get yourself a hold of these books. I will put links to purchase these books. Yeah, get started on your own herbal medicine making journey. Support your family. And yes, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say don't be stupid. Like I feel bad, but it's like, again, we need to be smart. There we go. That's how I should have said it. Be smart, right? Just be smart. And don't be, you know, another, I don't think any of you would be, but just in general, like don't be like another headline of like somebody who let their kid die because they were trying to treat something at home that they should have gone to the hospital for, right? So a lot of these books definitely do have the moment where it's like, you need to call the doctor at this point, you know? So anyway, just be intelligent as, you know, learning help for your family at home. There is actually, though, shockingly a huge number of things that you can just treat yourself at home that you don't have to go to a doctor for. But there are many, many things that you just don't mess with. So anyway, I would say like really super high fevers, serious infections. Like I said, Echinacea is supposed to be good for sepsis, but I don't know. Like if you have access to medical care, you should probably be getting medical care for stuff like that. So amongst other things, and even like the cardiovascular tonics and things like that, like go to a doctor to have for your heart, you know. Or better yet, be plant-based and do everything that you can to clear your arteries yourself without needing medication. So while herbs are wonderfully powerful plant medicines, to me, I think the most powerful plant medicine is like greens, just like kale and spinach, and including vegetables and stuff like that in your everyday life and diet. That is probably the best thing that anybody can do for their long-term health. Eat more vegetables. And so they are powerfully nutritious. Again, like with nettles, like I was saying, as soon as you get your body nourished, so many other things start falling into place and just working better. And so anyway, this is about herbal medicine, but I just sort of want to mention that it doesn't have to be herbs. If you can't afford this, you don't have access to this, or if you happen to be still watching this, even though you feel like you can't make alcohol tinctures for whatever reason, just vegetables, okay? Like really, plants are powerful. Whether they have a specifically noted medicinal action or not, they are powerful. The more plants that you can get into your life, into your diet, into your everyday, the better. And then that is all I'm going to say. I really do need to cut it off now. This is, oh my gosh, insanely long. So as always, I hope the rest of your day is good and your life stays wonderful. Thank you so much for watching. See you later. Bye. Tinctures are a great choice for long-term storage because they have a virtually indefinite shelf life. Properly done tinctures and alcohol will store pretty much forever without losing any of their efficacy. And I just knocked one onto the floor. Okay, give me a second.